The biggest challenge a lot of people are facing right now is when to take profits. A lot of people are pulling out too early and not enjoying the rest of the ride. And so in this video, I want to look at ways that you can avoid the early pullout and ensure that you get to where you want to go and not miss out on any of the good times. So make sure you've smashed the likes or touched it if you're on your iPhone there. Don't break that screen. Subscribe to the channel, bell notification icon. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Official links are down below. And we also have the Black Friday special going on right now. $200 off. This price right here. Use Black Friday 200 off at the checkout by clicking here. And there's also Patreon down below as well with a special there. So a couple of days left. Jump on board that if you want to learn more about trading cryptocurrency and investing full time. Back to the regrets of pulling out too early. And this comes up so many times in comment sections on the videos, especially when I talk about selling some of the crypto, not all of it, just selling some of it so that you can then reinvest these profits somewhere else. So there's going to be a couple of problems that lie here. Some people go all in and all out. You don't need to do that. It takes more work to take some profits and then reinvest it somewhere else and then keep watching another position. Other people, they want to take it easy, throw all the money in and just hold on and hope for the best that this crypto will do a 2, 3, or 400x at some point in the future. The problem with both of these is, on the one hand, maybe it does do a 2, 3, or 400x, but then it retreats 80, 90%, 95%, like we've seen with Axie early on. From the top to the bottom here, it's about 80, 85%. So these things happen. You're not really sure when it's going to happen. So the big picture, Bitcoin is looking pretty decent. We've got some good highs going on here, or building a position to break through to the highs. My target is still $61,000. So what I'm saying here is bigger picture, what's going on? Bitcoin, still bullish. Also, Ethereum, what's going on there? It's still looking reasonably bullish, especially against the Bitcoin value. So I still think Ethereum is going to take off here and then blow Bitcoin away. And eventually we're going to get the flippening. Hopefully, this just means that the investment in Ethereum is going to be a lot better. And of course, Bitcoin will still go up in this period. And that just means that we're looking at the flow of the macro environment being that it's still bullish. So then that helps with the smaller term pictures so that we can avoid the regrets in these small cryptocurrencies that we're holding. They will drop 80 or 90%, and we've seen it within the macro bullish cycle. When Bitcoin went down 55% and Ethereum around 65%, these cryptos were going down 85%, which is almost unheard of in any other industry. But then the regret lies by selling out and watching the market flow on to $160 from the previous tops that was sitting around $11, $12, $13. Now, going back to the regret that people have selling out at 2 or 3x, sure, you can take some profits, but try not to pull everything out at that single point in time. If you believe that it has the potential to do 100 or 200x, if you only think it has the potential to do a 4 or 5x, then maybe a 3x is okay as well. But rather than having the regret by not holding these things to 2, 3, 400% profit, which you can see from early on in these cryptos to the highs, there's almost a 30,000% return. So there's your 300x on Axie in this case. In that case, you can take some profits on the way up because most people, if they're new to crypto and new to investing, because they haven't invested in anything else before, and then they start the journey in something that is extremely volatile like cryptocurrency, they're not going to have the nerves or the plan or the understanding of how to hold through these periods and then watch the market fall back against them. I'm sure everyone's been through the case where their portfolio has gone from, pick a number, $1,000. We're sitting at around a $5 Axie, and now we've shot up to nearly $30. So we're going 6x there. You've gone $1,000 to $6,000, but then you see it more than drop by more than 50% against you, and you think, why didn't I just sell out then? I'm going to sell out here at 3,000 because I'm still up from my $1,000, and so you get out at your 2 or 3x rather than holding in because the macro environment is still bullish. It's still got a lot of room to move. So the way to avoid that mistake is just take some profits on the way up. Where could you set those targets? The first thing is using some fib extensions to have a look at where these areas might hit as some resistance, maybe take some profits there, knowing full well that the market can continue going on in the favor of the bull market, in which case you have to suck it up, possibly buy back in at a higher price than what you sold out at, and then continue on with the trend and follow up with some stops. This is just trading in cryptocurrencies or in any other market. It's the same strategy that you would use there. The hardest part is the mental game in being able to do that play, getting in and getting out. And then of course you got to worry about your taxes as well. But that's the biggest problem there. A recent example for me is on CRO. So I've been mentioning this to our members, the Investor Accelerator members, and I saw the market run up and I'm thinking, well, I probably should take some profits here because it started to take over a fair chunk of my trading portfolio. So as it starts to break through some highs, I'm okay with that. We come into some all-time high territory or some previous tops, take a little bit of profits, watch it retreat, come back onto old support, and then it takes off again. And I think, well, the market's still got more legs in it. We've broken through. We came back and tested this old high here, which was just set a few days earlier, and then it took off again. And now we're not getting any pullbacks on the way up. And this has been the deepest correction so far on the whole way up. So now I start to look at, well, should I be taking all of my position out here or just some more so that I can balance my portfolio and then wait to see if we get higher prices, because we are hitting a major resistance point. So use this across the other cryptos that you're looking to trade as well. And I'm going to look at a few in just a moment because we're seeing Metaverse just taking a break. Some things are still moving, some things aren't. And we're seeing a lot to do in the layer 1 and layer 2 of the smart contract ecosystem. Take a look at the coin market cap here. So we got Bitcoin moving up a little bit, Ethereum, which we've looked at, Binance is in the positive today in the last 24 hours. AVAX has gone on a massive run, so we don't expect that to do the same sort of returns as what it's done in the past, but it has been moving pretty well. Matic is also doing extremely well at the moment. This is something that I put out to the members just yesterday, looking at the chart and just showing why I think this is looking pretty strong. And so then in the background, we also see Ethereum doing quite well at the moment as well. So this will probably all play into the same narrative of the layer 1, layer 2 smart contracts starting to have a bit of a move on. Yet to be confirmed, but at least we're starting to see some of the flow moving over that way. Now, I'm not bearish on the metaverse, gaming, NFT, anything like that at all. There are still plenty of those cryptos in my portfolio. Metaverse obviously had its peak in October in Google Trend Words because of Facebook changing to Meta. Now it's sort of flattened out, which is not a bad thing, especially if we want to see some more consolidation and higher prices. But what we are seeing is the terms of crypto and Bitcoin increasing in Google search terms. That's a good thing for the continuation of the bull market. Now, we've got plenty of big names still talking about Metaverse being huge coming up in the next few years. Doesn't mean we won't see an 80, 90% correction on some of these cryptocurrencies. So have it in your plan to either take some profits on the way up so that you can reinvest them later, or just hold on for the ride and find another source of income to bring into your investments, whichever they may be. So Grayscale says Metaverse, $1 trillion market opportunity. Huge things still coming, but this is the sort of news that we expect in a bull market. You don't really expect people to come out and just talk it down because everyone is going to turn their noses up to it and not even listen. That's just what happens in bull markets. You try and say, sell some crypto at the top, people will bite your head off. Or you say, buy something at the bottom, and they don't believe you. Look at ADA at the moment. It looks like it's having a really hard time. All the bad news is out, and then we see an update. Looking at ETH, we're still getting a lot of ETH being burnt. 1 million ETH are now burned, bringing the total to around $4.6 billion. Rewards, 6.8 billion. So we're still at a net increase of ETH coming into the market, but eventually the idea is that it will become neutral or negative. Looking at the flippening, we're getting very close to ETH flipping Bitcoin as well. So I'm just looking at stuff that plays into the macro environment of Ethereum. Taking a look at the charts for the bullishness on some of my favorite cryptocurrencies. Of course, Ethereum is here. We've looked at this many times. We've been following this. The chart is very much winding up for a solid breakout against its BTC value. So you can see these tops coming in. We've got resistance at the top here at 0.08, so 8% of Bitcoin. And the wind up is looking pretty damn good at the moment. We never got near this halfway point, this 50%, which to me is extra bullish. On the 50% is fine, but if it doesn't even make it there and we get multiple bottoms with higher bottoms forming and then top starting to break out, it's bullish on top of bullish on top of bullish. Eventually we'll get a pretty big move. ETH USD has had a great day yesterday, broke a top and then also back above the previous old all-time high as well. So this is looking pretty good in the short term to build up to this bigger long-term narrative. Matic, again, on the way up. It has just been crushing it over the last few days, broke through the 50% level, and on the back of Ethereum looking so strong, I'd expect Matic to also look quite strong as well. Now, I'm not taking all of these trades because I'm only one human and I've got enough in the portfolio at the moment, but this is one of those times now where I would be confident on buying Matic. I was absolutely smashed in May when I didn't want to buy Matic. And it bounced and people said, you're crazy. I said, if you wanted a trade, that's your trade there. But going forward, dead, tried, failed. You can see the failed attempts here at bang on 50%. Another low came in, so it attempted again, failed at 50. We got the higher low in November. Now it is making the attempt to break higher on a higher low above 50%, aiming towards the next 50%. This is what I'm liking right now. So for me, patience is a huge game. May through to now late November, 6 months. I'm patient in my trades and I expect them to pay off because of the patience that I have there. Matic USD is also looking very similar. Now people say, well, why don't you just buy it at the low when it was 70 or 80 cents? Because I was buying Sol that did more than a 10x at that point. I was buying CRO, which has done a 10x. I'm buying other cryptos rather than blowing it all on these small gains which haven't gone anywhere. And I can see from the BTC chart, which I encourage a lot of you guys to do as well, this is your extra signal to tell you when a crypto is looking like it's ready to move out. So I think Matic has got some good run here. Rune is also in this case looking like it wants to have a break. And sure, it had $3, which is a good value. $13 at the moment, not so bad either. But if you take a look at Rune BTC, then you can start to see that maybe the wind up is ready to play out and it's time for a Rune position. Otherwise, you're sort of holding through here while you see everyone else making gains. And then the mentality comes in that you go, well, I need to sell out of this position. You jump into something else that's at a higher price and then that drops and you play the shuffling game that loses you money when you're in a bull market. So the patience really plays off at the end of the day in order to stay into these positions. Sand, on the other hand, is at these tops. Maybe it's a shooting star. Either way, I'm not saying to sell the entire bag here, but you don't want to have the regret of it moving against you while maybe the momentum shifts somewhere else. On the other hand, 750, 760, for this thing to double, it needs to get to $15, $16, depending where you bought it, if you were buying it at these highs, because of everyone talking about it when the market is high. Now, if you've been buying it at these earlier stages, maybe you want to take a little profits and move them somewhere else, because from this area up, there's a lot less room for it to move to get those gains. Something like Matic and Rune have a bit more room to move. Of course, I can completely be wrong on all this, but this is just how I would rotate my portfolio from old to new and then back again. So if you want to avoid those regrets of selling out of these cryptocurrencies, don't take everything out at the one time. Of course, I can't give you financial advice. You have to put it into your plan and decide, do I want to take some profits out at 2x, 3x, maybe 5x? And then leave some in there to see it run. I hope that you guys aren't in this position, but if you've taken some profits, by all means, you're doing pretty well compared to a lot of people at the end of the day. Don't ever regret taking profits, and if there are the 200 or 300 X's there, make sure you're watching the highs and then get back in. Suck up the ego and the pride that you sold lower, and if you see the trend coming, then you can get back in and get in higher. Stick around to the end of the video so you can see these playlists pop up to help you with your exit strategies and building your portfolio. While you're there, hit the like and subscribe button down below if you found some value from it. And of course, there's the Black Friday special at the top of the video description. TIA Premium, $200 off using the codes. Go down there, Black Friday 200 off. I'll see you guys at the next video. Until then, have more fun to get more done.